Lionel Messi came to MLS this year. It was so interesting to see the Inter Miami players adapt to playing with Messi. There are only a handful of players in the history of the game that have a comparable genius to Messi. You played with one of them, Johan Cruyff, with the Aztecs back in the day. What's it like to play alongside somebody like that and try to be on his wavelength?
It's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. And some of the greatest players. And you enter that list. Gerd Mueller was my roommate in Florida. Gerd Mueller at that time was the leading goal scorer at the World Cup, and still holds the record at Bayern Munich, obviously, as the best number 9. Killed us in '74. We went to 4 World Cups. The Dutchies were bridesmaids. We're too romantic. We can't score the next goal and just say, let's close shop. But those guys, make other players around them better. That's one of the great qualities of the greatest in the world. Hey, look at Robert Taylor, for instance, even Joseph Martinez and others that benefited from Cruyff or Messi. They're incredibly, although both somewhat introverted, incredibly competitive. I mean, you look at Michael Jordan tape, and although Messi has changed, let's be real honest, and the change came somehow in the last World Cup, and he's continued that in qualifying when he gets face to face in MLS as well. So there's a chip on his shoulder, and all of a sudden, from an introvert, he's become more extroverted on the pitch, because I think he knew that his team Argentina needed that. So the emotional intelligence combined with some instinctual stuff, I would ask Cruyff why, and he couldn't explain it to me. Whereas at this day and age, because we didn't have data analysis, there was no XGs, there was no passing patterns, there was no whatever, which I think players right now rely on and get a much better understanding. If I talk to Mbappe after a game, he can explain actually why he did certain things. You know, literally right after the game, I wanted to come inside, draw people in. The nutmeg was on. I saw the pass, but I also knew that the goalkeeper was shielded. I didn't hear that from the Muellers and the Cruyffs because they really said, I don't know, instinctually, that's just, what I do. So it's interesting too how the game has evolved on the in and the outside. But calling Messi's games right now and see great teammate, great leader, more so on the field, quiet still off the field, and done for a reason, obviously, because they're really trying and they are enjoying, I think, their American experience. One of the things I took away from all those great internationals, the biggest players in the world, from Pele to Cruyff to Gerd Mueller, is that they talk in their books or later when I talk to them, the most enjoyable experience was playing in the United States. Was it 1, 2, or 3 years? For the mere fact that they were somewhat of an unknown and were able to live their lives much freer and better. We all know education. We all know the lifestyle. I think there will be more Messis coming this way after Messi. But you're right, Sean. Incredible how these guys can carry teams and make a Robert Taylor from a $100,000 player into a $5 million transfer guy, because he benefited and understood, just like Steve Ralston did in his rookie year. After a week, he came up to me and said, if a ball gets played into Thomas Rongen, I know he's going to open up. I know he's going to such a good shielder, and then he's going to play the ball between inside left center back and left back. And with my speed, if I time it right, I can get there. And that's what Steve Ralston did, rookie of the year. That's how Roy Lasker scored almost 30 goals, benefiting from Valderrama and Stevie Ralston as well. Certain players get it, some don't. But most people, as I said again, certainly will become better with such great icons playing next to them. Arguably the best player in the world, or it's still a debate, Maradona, Messi, Pele, whatever.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.